Welcome. My name is Jay Parks. I'm the director of Pastor Training Schools, Inc., and I am so glad that you've come to our website to browse around. I want to take a few moments just to kind of tell you who we are. I was born and raised in Oxford, Mississippi. I owned a business for a while. I felt called to ministry finally in 2010, I sold my business. I went to school at Blue Mountain College to be able to get finish out my bachelor's, and then I went to New Orleans Seminary. After that, I began pastoring a small church, and I pastored that for nearly 3 years. And then I moved to Hawaii as a church planner for North American Mission Board. I was there for about 7 years, and then through a series of things with my father passing and world events and calling and all of that, we felt compelled to come back home to Mississippi. I began working with Church Missions Network in Eastern Africa, where we train pastors and plant churches. And I was the head of the pastor training school we had 38 schools, over 800 men in training. And I helped to write and craft all of those curriculum courses that we teach there in Eastern Africa. One day, I had a friend from Malawi, Africa, here with me, McLean Chimwenji, and he and I were driving up Highway 55 coming back from Jackson. And McLean asked me, he says, "Man, what's your hopes in ministry to accomplish?" And I said, "Man, at the end of this life, I think if I could lead 10 men into ministry, that would be a huge accomplishment." He looked at me, he said, "Man, why is your number so low?" I said, "What do you mean my number low? You don't understand the context here in America." And he says, "Dude, if you would just do what we're doing in Eastern Africa, you could lead thousands of guys into ministry in your lifetime. Why won't you do that?" And I remember explaining to him, and people here don't value certificate training. They don't value this. But that started a conversation, and that continued on, and it especially continued on in my heart. I remember thinking back about how I felt when God called me into ministry and how I thought, there's no way I can go back to school. There's no way I can go to seminary. I was married. I had a kid, another one on the way, and I couldn't even fathom going back to school. And I began thinking, man, I bet there's a lot of people like that all throughout our state, all throughout our country. And so I began to sit down with Dr. Meeks, my mentor, and we began to talk about this. And he said, "Jay, I think we can do it. And I think Blue Mountain Christian University would love to be a part of it." And through a series of planning, we picked out 10 courses that we would take men through. These are tools that would equip them to mechanics and plumbers and city workers and electric company workers to go into these small churches and be able to preach gospel centered messages. And we started talking about that more. Um, we met with the board. We worked out a deal with Blue Mountain Christian University, and they are offering a certificate of ministry for the completion of those guys who've been through these courses. And we set it up. We started in Oxford with one cohort. We had a few guys there, and what started as just a few guys with spiritual formation, man, we began to invest in those guys, and it just began to grow. I had requests in Tupelo for more guys for training, so we started a cohort in Tupelo. Then I had a request in Matheson down toward Starkville to start a cohort. We started one down there, and then we began to look at the northeast part of our state and realizing, man, Tupelo can hit that area up and down the highway, but then the northwest part of the state, DeSoto County, man, what are we doing over there? And so we started a cohort over there, thankful to the partners that have helped us to do that. And man, now we have nearly 50 men in training throughout the central and north part of Mississippi. What we do is we take our guys through spiritual formation, through Old Testament, New Testament, pastoral ministry, hermeneutics, homiletics. We'll take them through evangelism. We'll take them through missions. We'll take them through church revitalization and through discipleship. And so, man, it has been powerful. And not only has the training been good, but the community that has developed out of it has been amazing. One of the guys out of my church went and started being a part of a cohort in Tupelo, and he got invited to speak for his first time. And I thought, man, I'll ride over there and listen to Will. And I rode over to listen to Will. I walked in the room, and there were 9 guys from his cohort that had come to listen to him preach that morning. Man, it's been a powerful community. So I don't know whether you're here looking at this because you feel like God's calling you to be equipped so that you can go and help further the kingdom of God. Maybe you're looking at this because you're a pastor and you've heard about this and you really have a heart to invest in men and to disciple men. Man, we need you. What we do is practical training by practitioners. Ultimately, yes, it's in an academic frame, but what we do is truly subject based discipleship. And man, God will really bless you for that. So if you're interested as a student, man, click on the application button, fill that out, and I'll be right back with you. If you are interested in teaching, man, please click on that contact, send me a message, and I'll reach out to you. But hey, thanks so much for coming by our website and looking around and man, I'm praying for you, and would you guys be praying for us? Help us spread the word about what God is doing here in Mississippi through Pastor Training Inc. God bless.